Morning, everyone. I know it's a little bit earlier than what the program says, and I can see that not everyone is in here. Maybe the others stayed out a little bit later than I did last night, and anyways, hopefully they're able to join us soon. So I actually just got a special request. Did anyone notice the red dresses out hanging in the trees? Yes? You can clap. Make some noise so I know. Right, so there's some red dresses. Okay, so the staff at NACA came up with that idea because it just so happened, obviously, that today is Red Dress Day. And so I think it was Sarah, your idea? Can I give you credit for that? Anyways, let's just say it was a NACA idea. So Sarah and a few others gathered up some dresses, either from the women at NACA, or I think we even had to go buy some. And so we put those out. And then one of our board members, Keith Matthew, asked if he could come up, and he has a song that he wants to sing in honor of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit, I believe it's the proper terms. So Keith Matthew, if you'd welcome him, please. Thank you.
André, I just wanted to thank you and the staff for the work that you've done on behalf of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children. And my name is Keith Matthew. I'm a board member for British Columbia. And all of our families, no matter where across Canada, if you're from one of the Indigenous communities, has been impacted by violence towards women and children. And I want to especially mention our staff here at NACA. They're incredible people. They've arranged for a display of red dresses, like the one behind me, out in the main area behind the hotel here. You'll see the display. And they've also mentioned that there's an opportunity for hanging ribbons to commemorate today. And, you know, it's especially meaningful for me. One of my aunties, Auntie Donna, was murdered, and they never found the person who did that. So I just want to remember her and all of the battered women out there. You know, what happened with the residential schools? It had a huge impact on our communities. And a lot of our women and children, because of that, were horribly abused. And I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the women who have been abused and the children. So in my community, we have a song that we sing in our sweat lodge as part of our healing process. Look after ourselves and say a prayer for the people around us. I'd like to sing that song for our missing and murdered Indigenous women and our children, because they're the ones who suffer the most as well. They have no power over their situation. And that cycle of abuse, it continues on and until we take a stand and we say, it stops here, it stops now. And that's a personal responsibility that we all have to face. So today, you know, I'm especially grateful to be here and to be able to do this for our community. I don't have a hand drum. I'm going to have to use this iPad. So I'll do my best. I didn't bring my drum with me. So I'll sing the song now. And like I say, it's we sing this song as a blessing song in our sweat lodge ceremonies. Yo ho he la ha, ah ha ho he la ha, ho he la he ho. El cook Piet mag nog wen koch, quante koch echt nog wen chiens koch. Oh, la he la ha, I ha, ho la ha, oh ho he la he ho. Skell ja mag nog wen koch, quante koch echt nog wen chiens koch. La ha, I ha, ho la ha, ho la he ho. Hey, mag nog wen koch, quante koch, echt nog wen chiens koch. Hey, la ha, I ha, ho la ha, ho la he ho. Skelt qua mag nog wen koch, quante koch, echt nog wen chiens koch. Hey, la ha, I ha, ho la ha, ho la he ho. Stelt zijn mag nog wen koch, quante koch, echt nog wen chiens koch. Hey, la ha, I ha, ho la ha, oh ho la he ho. Hey, mag nog wen koch, quante koch, echt nog wen chiens koch. Hey, la ha, I ha, ho la ha, oh ho la he ho. Thank you so much for giving me a couple minutes, André. I appreciate it. With all my heart, Cooksham, all my relations.
Thank you very much, Keith. Much appreciated. All right, here we are, the final stretch in the program. Wednesday took up 3 pages. Today's the last day, Thursday. 1 page. 1 page to go, folks. All right? I don't know about you guys. I think we're pretty tired. I'm not going to tell you what time we left the casino last night, but here we are. We're energized. You ready to go?
Born ready.
Born ready?
Born ready.
All right. So I was going to ask Sunshine to talk about Red Dress Day a little bit. I think Keith covered off some of it. I do want to point out, I believe Keith mentioned it about putting a red ribbon in the trees. We put the red dresses out already. At the NACA booth inside the exhibitor area, we have some red ribbons. So if anybody wants to put one up in honor of, someone then please do. There's obviously no charge, free ribbon. Thanks to our sponsors. I'll get to that in a second. Anyways, I shouldn't joke about it. It's a serious thing. So I'm going to ask Sunshine just to say a few words about maybe how it started. I'm putting you on the spot here. I know
Yeah, you are. I had, thank you, Andre, and thank you for the welcoming, for the beautiful song. I don't even recall exactly the details about it, but I know there's a lot going on social media today, and it's just to acknowledge that Indigenous women are going missing, and there's a lot of speculation in the Thunder Bay area, and we talk about it a lot. I think it's important to have these conversations at every forum, every workshop, everything. I was just speaking with last night. There were 2 young girls who went missing almost 10 years ago now from our community, and they were 14, 15 years old, and their brother was here last night, and so we have to have these conversations. So thank you.
Much. So Keith he forgot his drum, so he was using the iPad. This is one of the prizes. Hopefully he didn't break this, right? Because somebody is going to win this. It's not just an iPad, it's a drum. It can be used as a hand drum.
Sacred.
That's right. So maybe you guys missed the announcements, but we do have door prizes. Door prizes, I'm not sure that's the right word. So we have 5 iPads, random draws, but you have to be here to win. And that's to make sure you guys stay till the end. It's not a long day, so please, and respect our elders. She's going to do the closing ceremony, so please stick around till the end. After that closing prayer, then we do the draw for the iPads. If I draw the name and you're not here, I move on, I pick another name, okay? I also wanted to mention, we've got a few changes in the program, so I don't know if you guys have your program. 1 page, as I mentioned. So, excuse me. Originally at 10:30, we had the Honorable Patty Haydu. So unfortunately, we had to change her, or she asked us to. She's in meetings this morning. So she's actually going to be moved to 12:45. Now, if you look at when lunch is, 12:15, so it's going to shorten the lunch to half an hour. Okay, so I do ask that when we break for lunch, hopefully that other session before doesn't run late. Let's try to finish within half an hour so that we're not making too much noise when minister comes up. The other change, so that health break at 10:50, that'll be a long health break. Go get a ribbon, go buy something from the vendors, right? Support them if you can, please. And then as well, we actually have a jigger. I think when we have that slideshow that goes through, there's a slide for him. So Brad Lefferton. So he's going to come up and do some jigging. So that'll wake us up. That'll be a good way to kind of get close to closing this off. Geez. Oh no, you guys are ready? Are you ready to start early? We're running early. That's a good way to start the day, I think. So thank you very much, everyone. We got some good people speaking today, and we should finish by 2 p.m. All right? Have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Miigwech. Yeah.
Thank you. So our first panel today is Achieving Self-Reliance Through Economic Growth, Exploring Indigenous Community-Owned Businesses. We have Jim Bennett from Atlee Chip Limited Partnerships, David Kabolski, Manager, Nelson House Development Corporation, and Sandy Wong, General Manager, Tailactau? TAC? Tailactau? Help. Help.
Tally out.
Say it again.
Tally out.
Tally out?
Yeah.
Was that good? That was good. Okay. Aboriginal.
It's Kobluski.
Wait, come here. Help. That's why he gave me this panel. Aboriginal Capital Company.
It's David Koblisky.
Lee Short at the end. Lee
And Lee Short at the end. Nail that one, though. Welcome to the stage, guys.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to give recognition as well to this red dress. As an elder once said to me at a thing, there's good medicine here, and I'm feeling it. My name is Jim Bennett, and the theme of this conference is reconnecting. And I'm very grateful to be here to reconnect, and I'm also very grateful to be here connecting. But most of all, I'm really grateful to be here in person. This is not on Zoom. I'm not doing the Zoom meeting. I'm grateful I remembered to wear pants, and just to be here in person. And grateful for NACA asking me to be a panelist and what one would call a moderator. I'd also like to acknowledge the warm welcome from the Algonquin Elder yesterday, being on their traditional territory and a land, standing on a land that is sacred to them. And I come from Comox Valley, which is in Vancouver Island on British Columbia, the traditional territory of the Comox First Nation. And I would also like to extend my warm gratitude to them because I was raised there and have now reallocated there, and for always welcoming me to their traditional territory. So I'd like to say thank you to that. So our panel is on self-reliance. We're community owned. And so as there's diversity within Indigenous peoples, there's diversity in this land, community owned is diverse as well. And you're gonna hear about some differences, but more importantly, some of the common themes and equally importantly, how we've been supported and how AFIs have supported us and some of our success stories. We're gonna go through a bit of a panelist or introduction. I'm gonna start, as I mentioned, my name's Jim Bennett. So I'm here as a director of Otley Chip Limited Partnership. Otley is on northern Vancouver Island, and it's owned by the Nungees First Nation, which I'll talk more about. So I'm a board member, and that's what I do. I sit on boards of economic development corporations. In a previous life, I was a partner at KPMG in Vancouver, focused on resource-based companies. But around 10 years ago, the Creator put me on a different path, and that path has led me working with economic development corporations. That path has led me to this seat right now, and I'm very grateful for that path that's been laid out to me, and the support I receive from the nations in this regard. And usually when you sit on the board, they always say, well, we need a secretary and a treasurer. And for some reason, they look at the guy with the professional accounting designation for treasurer, and that's me. So I typically play that role as well, which allows me to get into the deals, allows me to get into the finance, and the deal flow, which is another reason I'm here, because one of those deals is Otley Chip, which I will talk more. But I would like to let the other panelists introduce themselves, so you guys get to know them first, and then we'll continue on. So just starting next to David.
Good morning, everybody. Name is David Koblisky. I'm the executive director of the Nelson House Development Corporation. I've been there for 25 years now. I oversee and manage numerous businesses within our First Nation and within the municipality of the City of Thompson, and also in OCN, which is another First Nation community that we also operate a business in. I'm also a member of the Nisqually Cree Nation, which is Nelson House. My last name, Koblisky, tends to throw a lot of people off because they assume that I'm a non-Aboriginal working for a First Nation. And I think that's probably why I'm successful. So talk more about that later.
Good morning. My name is Sandy Wong. I'm with Taliot Aboriginal Capital Corporation. We're an Aboriginal financial institution located out of Vancouver. And I guess I'm on the panel because we do some financing of community-owned businesses. TAC, we'll say TAC rather than Tally Out Aboriginal Capital Corp. But TAC serves the Coast Salish region in southwest Vancouver. So we have a fairly small region, but we cover all the urban areas in southwest BC. So we have about half the Aboriginal population within our region, and it's all within a 200-kilometer area. So we do have quite a bit of community economic development because the 54 Coast Salish First Nations that sit in our territory, for the most part, are either in or very close to urban centers. So we've had some experience in dealing with community-owned businesses. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Lee?
Okay, good morning. My name is Lee Short, and I'm a district support advisor for Arctic Cooperatives. Formerly, I've worked 25 years in retail, and 21 of those years were corporately. And the last 4 years, I've switched over into the cooperative model. And I got to say, wow, what a difference. In the corporation model, where all the funding comes to the south, doesn't go back to the communities. But in the Arctic Co-op model, the patronage goes back to the communities as a self-reliance. It's truly amazing what happens when you work within the cooperative. And and the co-op supports the community through and through donations and whatever it is. Nobody will go without. Over to you, John.
Thanks. So I'm going to start first with an introduction of a community-owned business. One of them, it's called Otley Chip Limited Partnership, and it was formed to acquire the assets of a pulp chip operation in Beaver Cove, which sits at the northern Vancouver Island. Otley Chip is majority owned by Otley Resources, which is 100% owned by the Numgeese First Nation. And I'd like to stop there and say that I am a board member of Otley Chip. I'm a board member of Otley Resources, and I do not speak for the nation. The nation speaks for themselves. And so my words here only come from as a board member of Otley Chip. But around 4 years ago, there was a dire need, or a need to look at, when we have logging operations, there's a lot of salvage, there's a lot of waste wood. That waste wood is piled by the logging foresters, tenure holders. Easiest thing to do is burn it. That burning of waste piles creates a substantial amount of smoke particles. It's an environmental hazard to a lot of people, especially with people with asthma, as well as it's a waste of wood. So through some legislation with the Ministry of Forestry and fiber recovery zones, we saw a need here to meet two needs. We saw a need to reduce the environmental impact of the wood burning and the waste, and we saw an economic opportunity to turn that into a product, and that product is simply wood chips. So pretty simple. We take a log, we take waste logs, run it through a chipper, put it on a barge, and we sell it. Part of the key of that was when we first looked at this as a community-owned business, was de-risking the project. In that regard, we de-risked the project through various means, but one of the biggest ones was securing an additional fiber supply to mix with the waste, called pulp logs, and to find a long-term buyer, because it's a lot easier going to the banks when you have a long-term contract for your product. And we achieved that through a company called Paper Excellence, who owns the pulp mills. And there are pictures flying on the screen. You'll see a few pictures, one of the mill, and what it turns into is a paper product at these pulp mills. So by de-risking, we looked at that side, as well as we weren't operators of a chip plant. We weren't operators of heavy machinery. So we brought in a third-party contractor, a partner that is very involved on the North Island around logging, and they were able to, they came in as the operator. So we reduced operational risk by bringing in third parties. But one of the main keys was control. And this panel is about self-reliance, which I also think is about self-determination, and how can you have self-determination without control of the asset. And in the negotiations of participating interest in the negotiations with these third parties, it was always like I always had to say, I have to look chief and council and the members in the eye and say, you have control of this asset. If there is anything that you do not like, you can shut it down. Of course, there are protective rights for minority interests, but they didn't have substantive or controlling rights. And that was a key part for us. And so we had to have that. And that allows us also to be classified as an Indigenous owned business, which I'll talk about later, has monetary benefits as well. So we were able to rely on some equity funding. We were able to get some non-repayable grants, but there was a need for additional debt, and we wanted to leverage this product or this asset acquisition. And so we went to the traditional banks. And the first thing they said is, we'd love to lend you money, but we're going to require a guarantee from the nation. And the last thing I ever want to do is create a business for a nation and then have something go wrong, have some uncertainties, have some risk, and that risk results in liability, and that liability can trace back to the nation. I do not want to jeopardize social housing. I do not want to jeopardize schools of the nation has with the activities of the business. So that was a non-starter for us. If you required a guarantee, and this is, I know there's some banks here, possibly, and there's some traditional, but there has to be an evolution of change where the nation does not guarantee, and especially the new and up-and-coming community businesses with nation guarantees, because I've seen what it's done. So that's when I phoned up my good friend Sandy. I tell you how Aboriginal Corp, better known as TAC, another acronym. Actually, if there's any young entrepreneurial technology people, if you could do an app for acronyms, I'd really appreciate it. If you go to the Futurepreneur booth, start your business plan so we can roll it out for next conference. So Sandy at TAC, I phoned Sandy at TAC, and we started talking about solutions. And the first thing they said is, well, how do we establish the feasibility of this project? And provided BEP funding, equity funding, a small amount to bring in some valuators, to bring in some engineers, to bring in some third-party independent specialists to help us evaluate this and the feasibility of the project, which was all positive. Sandy and this, I give a shout out to his business development officer, Brian Gillespie, who really came, like boots on the ground. They came and visited. Brian came down, he drove 3 hours, he saw the operation.